your opponent,
Yeah.
Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu's report, to say that you saying that Lagos is under some kind of bondage is insulting to humanity and to democracy.
Well, I don't know what he means by insulting to humanity.
But when you say that the people of Lagos State are in bondage...
I'm just telling you, and I can keep going on and on. I can talk,
in a democracy, that's what you say.
Yeah, I can keep going on and on. I'm just giving you an example of how our money is spent, and we don't know how, we don't know what, we don't have access to it, we have no right to it because they've refused to domesticate. I've just told you how we have a Lagos that is a mega city. Lagos is one of the mega cities, the 2 mega cities in the world that doesn't have a real system to transport its citizens. Of all mega cities in the world, it's one of the 2, only 2. Lagos, we're talking about, has the 5th largest economy in Africa. That is to say that the economy of Lagos is bigger than Ghana and Kenya combined. You've been to Ghana, you've been to Kenya. Now compare with what we have in Lagos. Lagos' economy combines 11 African countries together. So I'm saying that, hey, come on. What is happening? 7 trillion naira is what Lagos has spent in 20 years. And what do we have to show for it? If you look at the average for education in Lagos, only 20% of our children in the last 20 years, an average of 20%, have passed WAEC with 5 credits. 20%. So what are we saying? What are we getting? Are we getting value for money? And that's why I say it's not about me. It's not about any one person. It's about the people, that we're not getting value for money.
I will be asking you about your manifesto and some of the things you plan to do for the people of Lagos.
Right.
But before we go on a short break, have you resolved your differences with Chief Bode George?
There are no differences.
Or you were not probably playing on the same side earlier in 2015, and you ran against him.
Earlier in 2015?
Earlier in 2015.
No.
You were not a candidate favored by him. And in,
No.
I mean, you ran against him at a...
2015?
Yes.
No, you must have your dates wrong. 2015 was when I ran for governor.
Absolutely.
And
under the platform of the PDP.
On the platform of the PDP.
Absolutely.
Yes, and there was no problem.
Are you sure that he supported you at first?
In 2015 for the governorship
elections. I mean, afterwards, it was afterwards. Because you ran against him as a PDP national, for the PDP national.
Okay, that was 2016.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, we've gone past that.
Oh, you've reconciled.
We've gone past that.
No, you've reconciled.
I said we've gone past that.
Okay. So the big question on the issues of your manifesto, in 2015 you said you are not one of them. And your manifesto you tagged 2015, bold ideas, new opportunity. You discussed issues of accommodation and welfare for people of Lagos, free education, basic education. This time around, what do you have?
Well, basically, not much has changed in the last 4 years. So we're saying that, but this time around, we're putting it on a tripod, on 3 legs. We're looking at livability. In other words, how much is it worth living in Lagos? We're looking at the economy as the second leg, and then we're looking at the future as the third leg. Now, of course, under livability, the way I would like to explain it to viewers is you ask an 18-year-old to 50, 55-year-old to make a choice. Would you rather stay in Lagos, or would you rather go to, if you were given a visa, to go to Canada? You know, and I'm sure that the answer would be obvious to majority of those that will be asked that question. And if you followed up, they'll probably be telling you why, and they'll be looking at those basic issues of livability, which Lagos doesn't have a very good record of, because in the last 20 years, we've been oscillating between 137, 138, and 139th out of 140 cities in the world. So it's one of the worst places to live in the world today. So we're saying, in terms of livability, what are the issues? Education, health, and that's why they score so low. Our education, our health, our infrastructure. These are some of the things that they're looking at. Our culture and environment, how is it? Our security. So under livability, it's a whole gamut of those basic issues. And I can go and, and go into...
What is most paramount for you that you think that needs urgent attention in Lagos right now?
I think the first thing is character of leadership. I think it's important that we look at Lagos and say that it's time to have a Lagos that is going to work for all. In other words, you're looking at a Lagos that, people will find worth living in an economy that thrives for all Lagosians. That is very important. And so you need to bring about that character that is this Lagos for a few people or is it for everybody? And that's part of the freedom that we're talking about, that it's time to let go Lagos. Lagos has a lot of potential that is not being tapped. And that's because there are a lot of vested interests that are not allowing that to happen.
If you become Lagos governor today, should he be elected, would you scrap Visionscape or you retain it?
I don't think it's about scrapping Visionscape. And I think we have to understand that our politics...
So for a lot of people who do not know what Visionscape is, if you do not live in Lagos, Visionscape is a company that takes charge of the environment and takes charge of the waste. That seems to be the one that's taking over the agency, the waste management agency.
Yeah. That's why I said, it's a military style. You say you scrap this, you probe this, you do that. That's not the way it should be. Mistakes have been made, obviously, and it's how do we correct that mistake as a responsible government. I believe that it's important that in whatever way we're going to address waste, we have to consider that we have an unemployment issue, and therefore the PSPs have a role to play, not only from the point of view of unemployment, but that there are many areas of Lagos that that you don't have access to in terms of compactor trucks and all. So there is a reality that you need to employ the PSPs.
Traffic is a nightmare.
At the same time as bringing about technology, at the same time as bringing advanced technology in terms of waste management, in terms of waste to wealth and all.
So, Chancellor, you're almost saying that you may retain Visionscape.
Yeah, that I'm not going to tell you I'm going to scrap it, because in any case, there will be many issues involved. One, what is the cost of scrapping? Secondly, can something be done?
Traffic is a nightmare in Lagos. Recently, it's gotten bad.
Yes.
Do you have a solution to that?
Yeah. Again, we talk about freedom. In mega cities, the mode of transportation is not by cars. You need to have a proper, transport system in place. Now, let's look at the first leg we took with BRT. Our BRT started on a certain note, but it's worse today than it was before. And why? Because those that have interest in the BRT are not doing well. But I'm aware, for example, that Lagos has imported new buses the last 5 months or so. New buses have been brought into Lagos, but they have not been deployed to the roads. Why? Because this is brought in by government. Now, the vested interests will be losing out on their business with these present blue buses that we have. And so for that, Lagos continues to suffer. So we have a situation where Lagosians are buying tickets, they're taking tokens for their daily BRT. They're spending hours at the BRT, at the bus stops. They cannot use it, and the ticket expires at the end of the day. It's vested interests that have not allowed those buses. And we should ask Lagos, why is it that these buses have been bought for 5 months for the people and they're not being used? And beg that they should be used. I'm just using that.
Some of the programs look so much that it's going to be a big political upset in the system of how it works in Lagos.
It'll be an upset for those that have vested interest, yes.
And you are ready for that?
Oh, yes, you must be, because it's like I said, it's about the people's Lagos.
You think you can win this time?
I told you I wasn't declared winner the last time. But I'm going to win this time, and I'm going to be declared winner this time. Because it's going to be a race that is going to be so clear.
Who is sponsoring you? Who is funding you? Yeah.
You know, that's the difference between me and the other party. I say that when I'm governor, the buck will stop on my table. But I'm not sure that that can be said on the other side. There's nobody sponsoring me. Nobody has ever sponsored me anyway. In 2007,
where do you get your funding from?
You get funding from people. You get funding in cash. You get funding in kind. That's the reality. That's how it was in 2007.
Have you ever gone broke when you've done all of this?
I don't know what you mean by broke. I mean...
because if you fund yourself...
You do feel... No, I didn't... Nah, don't get me wrong. I didn't say that I fund from my pocket alone. Yes, of course, I spend my money. But I'm also getting people who are supporting because they believe in what I'm talking about. So I think the most important thing is that, do they believe in the person? And are they ready to support? Like I said, this race is not about Jimmy Agbaje. This race is about the people's Lagos. Right. And so if the people look at it as their race, then you find that support will come. And it is coming.
Mr. Jimmy Agbaje, it's always a pleasure talking to you. I guess we'll find you, we'll get hold of you at the debate which we're planning in January. Thank you so much for coming on tonight.
My pleasure.
And I wish you the very best.
Thank you very much.